So why am I switching from my Toyota Land Cruiser to this Nissan Patrol? Now before you get worried, no, this isn't going to be forever, but the 80 series is going to get a fair bit of work done to it over the next few months, and well, I'm going to need to find someone else to drive in between, and I guess the old Patrol is going to have to do. But there's one problem. This Patrol hasn't moved in a long time and it won't even start. And the problems don't stop there. Unfortunately, there's become a bit of a biohazard inside the vehicle. Different life forms growing on the steering wheel. There's bloody mold through all the seat belts, the carpets, the seats. I'm assuming the battery, yep, is dead. So let's pop the bonnet and see if we can get this thing going again. So you might be wondering, where did this car even come from? It's actually my mum's. Gas struts don't work on it. We use this car for all the family trips ever since we were kids, you know. It's been in the family for a long time. It's done 520 odd thousand Ks now. So mum's upgraded to a newer car. So this thing's just been sitting here doing nothing for a bit over 6 months now. And it hasn't taken long to kind of make the car fall apart. So yeah, it's in a pretty sorry state. So hopefully we're gonna be able to revive it and I'm gonna be able to get some use out of it. Because yeah, it's got plenty of life in it. It's still like a really good body. Good driveline, everything's good. TB45 motor, which are apparently meant to be fairly reliable, as Liam tells me. But yeah, it's on gas, so we'll see what we can do. But yeah, we're not giving up on it just yet.
First signs, mice poo all over the battery. And even just all the corrosion starting to form in it.
Different things have been living in and out of here, and it's so funny to me how little it takes if you don't touch a car. It'll just fall apart.
Most people probably think that, like a lot of people buy an old four-wheel drive and they say, oh, I don't want to put more Ks on, I don't want to drive it to maintain it, but if you stop driving it altogether, it actually becomes a lot worse.
So I'm expecting as soon as we're going to drive this, a lot's going to break. I forgot to tell you all, this car has an immobiliser system. All right, so there's nothing. And the immobiliser key is not working. Where's the speaker coming from?
But yeah, that's pretty much going to be half the battle of today, is trying to get past that thing. I don't know about you, but this is probably, for a four-wheel drive, this is one of the most crammed engine bays I feel like I've ever seen. I mean, it's probably not even that bad compared to some new stuff, but go get a new battery. If I stick this on here, it's probably going to make a bunch of noise. Yeah.
So with the immobiliser remote not working, we couldn't get the car to start.
This is an aftermarket alarm.
And Liam's just gone inside and somehow found this key to it.
Which I think takes off the key to this box. But that doesn't really help us.
But after a while of troubleshooting and chasing wires, we finally had a breakthrough.
So we were just about to tow the Patrol up to the shed because this isn't really a great spot to work on it and we thought we had a fair bit to do. And Patrick was messing around with the fob, the key fob that supposedly disables the alarm and pressing all different buttons, and it worked.
It just worked.
So I don't know, maybe there was a bad connection or something.
I think it's just this battery terminal was all gummed up and now it's all looks like it's all good.
It might actually work now.
So
I mean, I don't know, I'd still be kind of half tempted to pull it out anyway, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're ready to crank now. Notoriously, this car was always bad at starting. It always took ages. And I think it's something to do with the fuel pump maybe, but don't be alarmed if this takes a long time. If anything, it's just a good way to get some oil pressure around the engine before it starts. Still going.
Oh! Hey! It don't sound not too bad. Oh, it runs. All right, now it's started, we can bring it up to the shed.
Why'd you grab the steering wheel?
Accidentally did. Oh, even the handbrake's got mold on it. It moves. Actually, it feels pretty good. It actually moves quite well.
I don't know why you touched the steering wheel.
Nasty in there.
Okay, that's actually disgusting.
That's nasty. Bro, the whole car's nasty, the handbrake's nasty, like...
Yeah, it's got mold on it.
Ugh. We need to get it good clean. All right, so now that we got the Patrol up in the shed, we're gonna try and clean a bit of it because it's pretty nasty to work in here. Like, we're gonna have to get all through that dash to pull out those alarms and stuff. But because there's mold literally growing out throughout the entire vehicle, we wanna get rid of that because it's actually not good for your house, one, and it's just gross. So yeah, we're gonna start cleaning all that and hopefully really transform this thing into a lovely looking Patrol. So let's give it a crack. And since we are dealing with black mold, we've come prepared. Bit of PPE because It's actually going to be nasty when we start scrubbing this stuff.
You really shouldn't breathe it in, I've heard.
Apparently it's actually bad. Like it's genuinely
It
like,
gets in your lungs, the spores get in your lungs.
yeah,
And
it's really bad. So we're taking no risks. So nasty. So Liam and I got stuck into cleaning this car up. Oh, nasty. Since it's just been driven to the shops and back, it's actually quite possible that it will scrub up quite nice.
Oh, much better. And that'll attack that mess. Well, at least now we can trace it much easier. So the next step would be if you want to take off this, you just gotta be careful, really. Airbag. Airbag. Probably doesn't even work anymore. But yeah, look at that. What the hell is that?
What the hell? It's lighting up too.
There's so much stuff in this car that. I think I just disconnected the wire. I think that's what it said. Maybe check the manual. Okay.
Ah, there you go. Alright. Now we're playing in the belly of the beast.
Oh, well now we've got access to the back of the key barrel anyway. So we've been tracing back the wiring from all these different units and modules that we found tucked up under the dash. And essentially, as you'd expect, we've traced it back to the key barrel, essentially. And we're starting to figure out, based off some wiring diagrams that Paddy's found online, that they're pretty much just using the alarm to disable the starter motor, which is why the car wouldn't crank. So hopefully, with any luck, it actually doesn't look too complex. We should just be able to remove the bits, re-hook any wires that have been spliced, and it should just be like there's no alarm there.
But it just will help us remove, like, there's so much cabling here.
Yeah, like there's all this stuff.
All it needs is one of these little modules to stop working, and your car's not going to start in the high country or wherever you are. So it's just, for our sake, better off take this out. If you want to be serious about security, GPS tracker in it.
Yeah, exactly right.
All those modern things, sort of. So yeah, we'll get this out. And
these days, I mean, you saw how easy it was to disable that alarm. You pull the positive terminal off and it stops.
Exactly. Yeah,
and then someone can just load it on the back of a trailer.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like,
If they're going to steal it,
they're going to steal it,
you know, so.
So we've disconnected everything that was essentially added aftermarket and reconnected anything that was spliced. So I guess we're just gonna stick it back together and hopefully, first test will be when we put the battery back on. Does the alarm go off? No alarm.
That's good.
Right. Which is, I mean, I cut the power from it. So yeah, it probably shouldn't work. Can we start the car? Oh.
Sounds like
Seems fine.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I know like they might start, but then it might not run.
Yeah.
Oh,
nah, it looks good.
Here's a belt.
Freaky belt, but...
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we did it.
That was easy. I suppose a 12-volt car can only be so complex, really.
Yeah.
Especially an older thing. So everything's been all tidied up and recorrected so it all works perfectly. So we'll stick the dash back together and we can take this thing for a drive.
All right, so we're gonna go give it a test drive because last time this was working, it was also overheating, wasn't it, Liam?
Yeah, and pretty much you'd go to drive it, and once it got up to temp, like after a few minutes, then it would overheat. I'm either thinking thermostat, because it did sit briefly, and the thermostat could have seized up in that time, so either the thermostat's not opening properly, or it could even as well be the clutch on the viscous fan hub, the fan's not engaging properly. It could be that too.
Honestly, drives pretty nice considering it's in
It might have wobbles. It probably could do with a few bushes and stuff changed, but it's probably not too bad.
It changes gears all nice, plenty of power to get up things.
Does it have plenty of power? I think this thing's gutless compared to our cars. Although our cars weigh like probably a good 600, 700 kilos.
This thing's in a pretty light state at the moment.
Yeah, there's nothing in it.
There's nothing in it.
It's got a bull bar.
It's pretty good.
That's it. But it's not that slow, really.
Nah, it's pretty good on the pickup, really.
When it's got no weight on it, it's not too bad, but once you go like up a hill or a trailer, it's pretty...
like remember when we towed your car with it?
Yeah.
When we were taking it to the spray food?
Like it'll do it, but...
It would use a lot of fuel doing it too.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, the thing's getting hot.
Oh, is it?
It's moved a little bit. It started to move.
You'll know, like it went over the gauge. It used to go like over the gauge.
Nah, it's beyond halfway now. And it's moving fast. It could just be that the thermostat's not opening fully properly. Like it's not getting all the way open.
All right, so we got back from our little test drive, and as you saw there at the end, it did start to get a little bit hot. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put it in the shed, put it up on the hoist. Now, I wanna check two things. One, we can see the viscous hub here. It seems to be it's a little bit on the loose side. Like if it's getting that hot, I would have thought it might have been a bit tighter, but after reading stuff online, it's kind of hard to get a clear answer anyway. So we'll hold off on pulling that off for a second, but what we are gonna do is check the thermostat. The thermostat housing is really easy to get to. We should be able to save all the coolant. So we'll rip this off, turn it up, check the thermostat housing, look for any corrosion. You can even put it in some water to test to see if it opens up as it should. And I suppose we'll go from there. So let's get it in the shed.
No, probably won't changing. He's gonna need the Fulcrum catalogue, you reckon, Paddy? Every bush, I mean the arms themselves are still fine, but all the bushes are done. The front radius arms are pretty cactus. This one here I can see is all torn.
Noticed it's missing a front sway bar.
Yeah, no, this one was our factory optioned without the sway bar.
Mum needed those, you know, around the roundabout.
Our mum liked to lift wheels pretty much. But we just wanted to eye out, so there's a fuel filter which we can replace, which will help it start. We're going to do the oil and oil filter change as well because it's due, so we'll get all that stuff tomorrow. I was going to go start pulling apart the cooling system, but it's still pretty hot and I don't want to blast hot coolant all over myself. So we're just going to do a few things while it cools down. Now, we are going to give this car a full service because it is due, so oil, filters, all that sort of stuff. So we'll start with draining the oil while it's nice and warm. Now, this engine strictly pretty much runs on gas, so it should be clean. And I say that very loosely, should be clean. It's not quite runny. You know how, like, have you seen the videos before when, like, for example, Mighty Car Mods, when they find like an engine that's been mistreated and it's got all like that orange scungy crap built up all over it? That's what I imagine effectively started happening in this car.
Yeah.
Which is not great. Oh, look at that, Patrick. See how they put that little hole there? So you can get to the... Oh God, I love Nissan.
On a European car, you would have had to like undo 10 million things.
Yeah, you probably have to take like the steering box out in order to change the fuel filter on a European car because they're just garbage. Oh, there you go. Oh, no way. 340,000.
That's when it was last changed.
No, it can't be. What's that first digit? Maybe 34?
Yeah. So
Which is still like 70,000 Ks ago. So whatever it was 2018.
So it hasn't been changed
6
in
years.
6 years, Jesus.
Yeah, that's
So it's probably due.
Watch it'll start like a dream after you face this. And it'll probably run better too. I reckon we're going to drop this back down and have a go at this thermostat housing because I'm skeptical and I want to have a look at it. Pretty easy to get to as well.
Do you want to go over some of the performance enhancements this car has, Liam?
I don't think it has any. Oh, it's got headers.
Yeah.
That's it. But that was a pretty standard mod for the times. Like you see a TB42 with headers on it, but I don't even know if it does much, to be honest. This probably has not been done in a long time.
Is that a problem when like you upgrade to new family cars and things? The poor old cars just get neglected, you know? Like I had my priority was the GQ. Patrick's priority was the Land Cruiser. No one cared about this car, it just kept working.
Yeah.
So there was no reason to fix it, you know?
No.
No reason to maintain. Poor thing. Probably a good thing it happened to this car than any other car, because any other car probably wouldn't have been able to handle it.
No.
Not too bad really, but
No.
we'll just chuck a new one in anyway. Oh yeah, it looks pretty good. What do you reckon?
I can take it out and test it. So what does it look like? Initial...
It looks fine, and it's not, it moves freely. Like we can test it, we can bore some water,
Yeah,
throw it
maybe
in.
test it. We're figuring it out.
Oh, actually, see how that's cracked? All the way along there? I don't know if that's normal, it doesn't look normal.
Maybe
It's
just
like it's
talk about-
gone in and out so many times that it's worn the brass. I'm assuming that can't be good. So what we might even do anyway, just to see if it is actually opening, is we'll go get a bowl of boiled water just out of the kettle, toss it in, and see if it opens up. Doesn't look like it's opening. All right, so we just tested out the thermostat, which is an 82-degree thermostat in 100-degree water, and sure enough, it didn't open. So I think what's happened is essentially this cylinder inside is meant to have some sort of element in it that expands and contracts with temperature. In this case, I think, as you can see by the cracked housing at the top, whatever was in there has leaked out, or it's become an sealed system. And essentially it's not doing anything anymore. So this is cactus, so I reckon that's the root of our problem. So we'll get a new one from Patrol Apart and whack it in, and hopefully it should fix it all.
What have you done, Liam?
I did what every LPG owner fears of. I ran out of gas. And it's not as simple as just getting a jerry and putting it in either. I was like, the thing told me I had 30 Ks range, and the problem was I believed it. I shouldn't believe the Ford computer. And sure enough, it's died on me. And so now we've got to go get a gas bottle and with an adapter to give me like 5 litres so I can get to somewhere. Oh, I'm such an idiot. I'm such an idiot. This is like the one thing that when you have a gas car, you should know. Don't let your car get too low, because this is what happens if you run out. And I will never make this mistake again. All right, so we're back in the Falcon. We managed to get it fixing, don't ask how. And you know how, Patrick, that like some people say they have their favorite shop, where it's like a closed shop or like a coffee shop? Well, as you can probably imagine, when it comes to me, this is my favorite shop. Just a shop full of Patrol parts. All right, well, I've come for just a thermostat, and as normal, I've walked out with a whole handful of parts. Now, it was actually awesome because I've managed to get all the filter stuff I need as well. So I've got fuel filter, air filter, and oil filter. And then I've also got all my belts as well to replace. And at Patrol Part, they actually make a kit where you can also get the radiator hoses with the belt. So it's a pretty, like a sort of a no-brainer to just do it all while you're there. So I've got the radiator hoses as well. And then also while we're here, because the bonnet kept falling on our heads, we had to use a little a makeshift prop. I've got some gas struts as well, which are going to replace the shagged one. So with all this stuff, the Patrol should be running like new. So let's go and whack it all in and see how we go. All right, so I managed to get all the parts home. Now, first job, I'm gonna start with the lower radiator hose, which is right here. It's kind of tucked away a bit, the hardest to get to, so we'll start with that. Now, the great thing about this kit is it actually comes with new hose clamps, which is fantastic because the ones that are currently in there are all shagged. So these are gonna make sure that we don't have any more leaks. So yeah, we'll whack this one in first and we can get onto the belts.
Patrick was just saying to me before, he said the thing that's hard about cars often isn't the job, like it's itself, like what you're replacing, but it's getting to it.
Yeah.
Like the tight spaces, having to curl your hands and try and fit ratchets and spanners in the tight spots. That's the difficult part and it's what makes it so time consuming.
All right, next is our little, it's an air compressor belt, I think this one is, the small one. Oh, there you go, that's the bad one. Missing like 4 teeth there, 2 teeth there. Yeah. Yeah, that's not what your belt should look like. So one of the things when you're putting your belts on that you'll have to pay attention to is the deflection of the belt, which essentially is how tight it is. So the way it's measured on these is in the manual, there's actually points marked on the belt where you can measure how much the belt deflects from a straight line. In this instance, it's 11 mil for this power steering belt. So you pretty much just tension it, put your finger on it, and with, you know, medium firm pressure, the belt should deflect by 11 mil, and that means you've got your tightness, you know, pretty much right. All right, so next to go in is our brand new thermostat. Now you notice this one is a lovely, genuine Nissan, my favorite. So this should hopefully fix our overheating issue. Lovely. That looks much better than the last one. These actually have a position when you put them in. So I looked in the manual, the position for this little bypass little hole here is actually 2 o'clock. So 12 o'clock straight up, 2 o'clock. So this should sit in there at 2 o'clock position. All right, then we can stick on our top radiator hose. Oh, nice. It will be a good peace of mind knowing that effectively for the next like 50,000 Ks, you don't have to worry about belts, hoses, anything like that. Genuine.
Damn.
Red makes it go faster, makes the air go faster. That should just go on there like that. And then just drop this sucker in. Cleanest air this thing would have ever breathed.
Yeah.
All right, we'll just throw on the engine cover. Gave it a little bit of a clean because it probably deserves it. Which way did it go actually? I think it was this way. We also got a fresh set of gas struts because as you see, we've had to use a makeshift rod to hold it up because these things are, or let's just say they're just struts. They're not gas struts anymore, there's no gas in them. So I got some new ones. So we should just be able to pop these off and replace them, which will be awesome. Should have done this a long time ago.
I was about to say, to think how many years we've had no gas struts and how simple they are to
simple they are.
change.
So as you can see there, just for the,
There's nothing there.
there's no gas. This is gonna be awesome having these though. You got gas struts in your Land Cruiser? You do, don't
Yeah.
you? They Patrol Part make a kit for the GQ as well.
Yeah, I know.
I should get one.
Yeah.
No, change the game. And then like that. Ta-da! I mean, any luck. I'm not that there is something there, but I just want to. Oh, nice. And they should. Ah, lovely. Next thing to go in is our fuel filter. Now, the one that came out of the car was absolutely knackered. Hadn't been done in about 70,000 Ks, maybe more. So yeah, this is probably going to make the biggest difference to how the car starts and everything, just doing this alone. So genuine one from Patrol Apart, genuine Nissan filter. Lovely. And this should go in nice and easily as well. Now, because I pretty much did a one-stop shop, again, we've got genuine, which is bloody awesome. Look at that. Oh, sorry, on the other side. Sorry, I changed to the Japanese side.
That's sick.
We also drained the old fuel from the petrol tank since it's been sitting for a long time, and we replaced the secondary battery so it'll be ready for some more trips.
All right, so all the filters and all the bits are in the car now, which means we can finally fill it up with fluids. So we've got some oil, also got some fresh coolant as well to whack in. And then once she's filled up, she'll be right to start.
With all the fluids in and some fresh fuel, we were ready to turn the key.
All right, so we've got the car all running awesome again. Now we're gonna take it for a quick drive just to make sure that we have actually fixed our overheating issue. I think we have, but we'll double check. And once we've done that, we can bring it back and we can actually pay some attention to the outside of this vehicle, give it a bit of a scrub up and bring it back to its former glory. So let's go do that. Oh, so much easier. If it's not your workshop, don't leave it dirty. Oh, well, at least that's what I'm told. All right, actually give it some stick up this hill.
All right. Looking still pretty good.
Seems to be fine.
Yeah. All right, so the car's running awesome. It's not overheating anymore, which is great. So let's get it home. Let's get it cleaned up. I'm really excited to see what this thing's gonna look like all washed up. So let's do it.
Let's just start with a big basic.
Yeah, the paint's all pretty good.
Yeah, this colour. All the GU paint's actually pretty good. Not many of them fade.
And after a good clean, this thing was looking awesome.
So what do you reckon, Liam? Is she good to go?
I reckon it's pretty good. It's like for a car that's, remember this car's almost as old as mine. This is a 98 model.
Yeah, it
and
is
the
old.
paint, really, considering, is pretty good. It's got a nice little fleck to it,
Yeah.
other than the few pinstripes from either us or the previous owners.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, it's pretty good. There's no paint fade, so no,
Nah,
it's a good
it
car.
feels good to finally give it some respect and give it a bit of a
Yeah, it
birthday,
was getting
so-
pretty sad.
Yeah.
It doesn't deserve to be treated like
No,
that. So.
God, no.
Yeah, so hopefully this is it'll spur us to keep using it.
And with that, my mum's old Patrol is all scrubbed up and ready to be handed over for me for the next few months to drive. Now, obviously with a car that hasn't been driving for 6 months, I guarantee more stuff's gonna break, but we've done what we can to replace all the belts, hoses, radiator flush, new oils, so it should be all running pretty good, and it's a perfect canvas to sort of set up to do camping, hard forward driving. Being a Patrol, probably not much is gonna break on it off-road, so yeah, I'm looking forward to giving it a drive, going out and having fun in it, but until then, work starts on my 80 series, so that's the next big project, so stay tuned for that. But I hope you guys did watch this video. If you did, give it a like, get subscribed, and we'll see you all in the next one.